Warm greetings, everyone here following Rwanda Protect the Brand. This is Chusanwari, your moderator today. I am joined by a phenomenal panelist group that I will introduce in a few. Today, we'll be covering the topic homegrown initiatives powering Rwanda's socio-economic growth. The panelists that are joining us today are people that have an extensive experience in the topic we'll be touching today. I'll start with Professor Ambassador Charles Murigande, Ambassador Christine Murikinha, and then Ms. Kamikazi Fiona. We have people following us from many parts of the world. We have obviously people in Rwanda, but as well in the 6th region, in the diaspora, and as well friends of Rwanda. So today we opted for the English language so that many auditors could follow us. So without further ado, I'll start with the first question, and I'll have Professor Ambassador Murigande answer it. You are very well accomplished in your respective fields, and you are all passionate about the growth of our great nation. Because some of us are curious, for such an accomplished person like yourself, what is a typical week at work for you? What is a typical week? Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this conversation. As you might know, I'm a retired civil servant, so my typical week is a bit relaxed. I don't know if you are interested in my current typical week or the week I used to have when I was a very busy civil servant, but I would say that when I was a civil servant, I worked an average of probably 80 hours a week. Maybe that's what led me to retire early, because I was extremely exhausted. Ever since I retired, I have really a relaxed week. I do no longer deal with deadlines. However, I get up very early, around 4:35. I take time to pray. Then I go for a walk. Every day I do 6 to 7 kilometers walk. And I come back, I prepare myself for the day. So I have a few commitments in the society that I deal with. But all in all, it's a very relaxed week compared to what it used to be when I was still a civil servant.
Thank you, Professor. And I'm sure that you're very humble, because a lot of people still seek you for more knowledge and more wisdom. Because as you know, we come from a continent of proverbs where we say that our elders are walking libraries. So at the least, I know you're a library of knowledge, and I know that people seek out for you. So I'll go next, Ambassador Murikinha. If you can share with us what's a typical week for you.
Thank you for inviting me this evening for this conversation. I feel a little bit challenged now, speaking after my brother, Ambassador Dr. Charles Brigando. particularly on the part of keeping healthy and fit. So I don't make it to walk 6-7 kilometers a day, but I try, but not every day. But otherwise, the week usually starts with, of course, we receive a lot of delegations. So Monday is the day where they come to our office. We will receive them over the weekend. Most of them arrive over the weekend. Monday is when we officially receive them, and we always start by introducing to them who we are, what we do, and why we are the one organizing and receiving them for the week. So depending on the delegations, I might attend or accompany them for different meetings, either with ministers or other high-level representatives of our country. Or then I'll be at work. Ambassador Murigande talked about deadlines. We always run after deadlines to meet them. It's not always easy. We have a lot of projects we do. We will talk about them later, and of course we have to meet deadlines. We have internal meetings. We have meetings with partners. We organize a workshop with different stakeholders. So the week is really full, but it's also very, but I talk about it later, how interesting it is.
Thank you so much. And one of the beauties we have in Rwanda, and the youth we're always inspired, is that we have leaders like yourself, Ambassador Mukinga, who are obviously servant leaders and very humble, but know that even running between meetings counts as steps in a way, and it's part of somewhat of a working out as well. So I know you're keeping healthy as well. So thank you. Last but not least, it's always an honor to have a peer, someone of my generation. And as you know, in Kinyarwanda, we say that Turamaboko y'u Rwanda, we're the arms of Rwanda. We as well are the majority. So thank you for being it's always an honor to have the voice of one of the majority with us. So thank you again for joining. And I'll also return to you the same question. Share with us a typical week, Ms. Kamikaze.
Thank you very much, Chusa and team, for inviting me and for putting me on the same panel with these great ambassadors. It's an honor for me, and I'm sure even hearing Ambassador Charles saying that his typical week used to be 80 hours. So it's scary, but they managed to do it. So I'm still a work in progress, not yet where I want to be, but my typical week involves work and school from Monday to Friday at least. I go to church on Thursdays because Sundays I'm already exhausted. So I go to church on Thursdays. And then during the weekends, I dedicate my time to reading about my country, staying updated on current news and history, because there is a lot to learn. You mentioned that Ambassador Charles they're working libraries, and we happen to be on the same WhatsApp group where he shares from time to time his experience, and he also brings us back to reason. Sometimes we are fighting, we all think we're very opinionated, and then he brings this wisdom with so much grace and calmness. You just think, oh my God, there is a lot I have to do in my life before I reach this level of graceness or gracefulness. So, but I also stay informed about global challenges, global happenings, because, well, we can learn about our country. Yes, it's very important, but we also need to set up some time for other things, what's going on in other countries, our neighbors, also different other global happenings. I socialize also if I don't have academic assignments. And I think I've also been challenged to up my game on the fitness front. Maybe I'll use the gym subscription that I pay for every year and go at least once or twice in 365 days. So, Ambassador, the challenge is taken. I'll join you on that. Thank you very much, Chifa.
Thank you. And I'll take from the three answers that I got that it's important to have a healthy body and a healthy mind. Keep that balance. So great reminders to those that are listening to us. Back to you, Professor Ambassador Morigande. As you said, between being a civil servant that's retired, I am still sure, like I said, that you've been approached for consultancies or joining boards, or if you want, you can pick it in during your active days as a government worker. What was or what is a recent project which would illustrate some of your areas of expertise that you took part in and that you had a lot of pride in sharing with our audience?
Yeah, thank you once again. I had an opportunity to serve in the education sector during my career, as you would know. I was the Vice Chancellor of the National University of Rwanda. I served as a Minister of Education. And my last assignment, public service assignment, was as the Deputy Vice Chancellor for the University of Rwanda. Therefore, the very day I retired, the CEO of Kepler, which is an international NGO, called me and asked me if I would accept to serve as the chairperson of the board of a university they were in the process of establishing, called Kepler College. And I accepted to play that role, and I accompanied the process of applying for accreditation. We got an accreditation last year and immediately started. So the Kepler College is up and running. It is really a college that has a very good approach to teaching and learning, as it focuses on acquiring competences over and above acquiring knowledge, and is also emphasizing on imparting on our student critical thinking, problem-solving skills, communication, collaboration skills, and creativity skills. And so far, we are really very proud of what we are doing with our students. Yesterday, I had a 2-hour discussion with the student, and I was quite impressed with the quality of our students. That is one of the projects. Another project I'm currently associated with, I serve on the board of Africa E-Trade, which is a social enterprise that is supporting the African Union and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area to indeed create an up and running common trade area on the African continent, especially looking at the side of using technology. The E-Trade refers to using technology. It's also a very well promising project that has the potential of creating a lot of jobs on the African continent. The last project I'm involved in is that currently I'm coordinating the effort of Rwandan Christian churches to organize a Thanksgiving festival, which is used to be held, called Rwanda Shimimana. So that is also an exciting project I'm involved in now. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this with your audience.
Thank you, Professor. And it's always good to know that even in your retirement days, you're staying in a healthy way busy, because it's known that from going from 80 hours a week to just relaxing, it's almost unhealthy for your brain and your body that is used to be constantly on the go. So I'm glad to hear that you're staying in your own way very busy. Thank you. Now I'll go to you as well, Ambassador Murikinha. Can you share with us a recent project that you've been part of, which would illustrate your area of expertise? Thank you.
Thank you. I was thinking maybe of an ongoing project that we have at RCN. We have a partnership. We signed a MOU with UNITA, the UN agency for training and research, to host CIFAL Kigali. This is a Centre International de Formation des Autorités et Leaders. So basically, International Center for training of authority and leaders. And it is hosted at RCI, as I said. It's a promising project as we will be providing training to leaders, to civil servants, not only in Rwanda, but also internationally. We are the third on the continent, the third center on the continent. We intend to really be able to provide a platform where different leaders can exchange ideas, not only have training, but also exchange ideas, be a kind of think tank, so to say. So it's ongoing. We have started. We are at the stage of modeling some projects to start with. We've started with some few trainings to test how it goes. So it's promising, and for sure, you all can also have a way or another to participate in that great exercise. Another one when I'm part of is called Rwandan Women Leaders Network, a network where Rwandan women leaders come together and exchange ideas. But most importantly now, I'm leading the Commission in Change of Peer Learning, where we can invite different women working in different areas and exchange experience and empower each other, as I believe that the best way to help each other, to support each other, is in sharing our experiences. I'm a little bit older as the younger one, like Fiona, so it's always good to be able to share our experiences and to encourage them, because on the way there are so many challenges you can meet. But it's always good to know it's not only you, others went through it and how they managed and so on. So this is something I really like, and it's a project I'm really excited to be part of.
Thank you, Ambassador, for sharing. And I know I can echo that in general, seeing is believing. So I really appreciate when I know that those that came before us, the shoulders of giants we stand upon, are remembering to reach back and say, hey, I'm here, but one day this is going to be you. And here are some of the ways, if you can learn from my experience, to make even faster strides. So really, so thank you. Mentorship is very important. Ms. Kamikaze, please.
Thank you very much, Tusa, and thank you very, very much to my fellow panelists for these great initiatives. I'm very impressed. Ambassador Charles, I'd like to commend the work you're doing at Kepler. I'm in the banking sector, and we've been trying to hire young people in order to increase the number of young people in the banking sector. And I was impressed by Kepler students during interviews. They are very prepared. They know what they're talking about. It's not like we are looking for experience, really. We're just looking for young people who are ready to take initiative, to learn. And I'm always impressed by how they behave during interviews. So good job. I didn't know you were part of the team. So keep it up. You're doing amazing. Back to your question, Chusa. Just 3 weeks ago, when the ambassadors were responding, I remembered this. Just 3 weeks ago, I attended Umuganura celebrations with the Rwandan community in Finland. It's National Harvest Day. I don't think the translation does it justice, but that's what I can say. But the turnout from all the Nordic countries, first of all, that was very impressive. Maybe it's because it was in Ambassador Christine's former territories. The turnout was amazing. But I was impressed by yes, the turnout. There were very many people. I was there for a work assignment, but I was amazed by the enthusiasm for culture preservation, and how we've managed to export Rwanda solutions or Rwanda homegrown solutions to the world. I was there selling products. I had prepared my presentation in English. But after interacting with different members of the audience, I didn't even think about selling these bank products in English. Young people in the audience, like in all these countries, we had Finland, Denmark, Norway, Sweden. They were all speaking Kinyarwanda, and they were dancing our traditional dances. It was truly impressive. You're there, you're thinking, I'm going to speak English. I've prepared everything to be English, but you notice that even some of the Rwandans who are married to Finnish or Swedish people, they're also trying to speak Kinyarwanda. They're trying to join us on stage when we were dancing. So it's truly amazing. You asked for like a project that I took part of, and I think it also, this one aligns with our discussion today, is how we have managed to export our culture, our language. It was really impressive. So that's the one I can talk about. We danced Tamarava with the Rwandans, and there were Zungus in the communities. They were very happy. And I was also very impressed by when I met, there is a gentleman called Thomas. He lived with very many Rwandans. He has visited our country and fallen in love with our country and decided to become Rwandan. So he's very active in the community. That itself, when you look at it, he was helping us with the work we're doing, helping us, getting us people to come and open accounts. He opened an account himself. So when you look at how even people who are now who have just recently become Rwandans, how much involved they are in our community, it makes you very, very proud of what we are working on, what we are trying to achieve as a country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now, dear panelists, we're gonna go in the format of, now I'm gonna, after kind of going that around for some introductory more questions, we're gonna dive into this project, into this more than a project, sorry. We're gonna dive into this topic. And when you think of this topic, when you look at the journey of our beautiful land of 1,000 hills, you think really 29 years ago, there was the genocide against the Tutsi. Next year, April 7th, we're gonna commemorate the 30th commemoration. So it's always important. Our leader, starting with His Excellency President Kagame, always invites us to do introspection, always invites us to have that ongoing reflection and that insatiable quest for excellence. better, more, never being complacent or saying, oh, we've gone far now, I think we can relax. So that's where this topic to us was very important, to look at all the homegrown solution that we've had for our own country. But now, and thanks to some of the panelists today, we're going to see how we also want to share with the globe. We also are looking outwardly and saying, hey, citizens of the globe, hey, fellow Africans, fellow other regions of this globe, here's some lessons that Rwanda has in a humble way, but we're willing to share. And when I think about this, the beauty we have, I'm always reminded, is unlike a lot of other fellow African country, Rwanda has always existed. So that's one of the privileges we've had, is anytime in the face of adversity, we've had the opportunity to dig deep, to look in what did our ancestors do, because there's some issues, there's some problems we faced that maybe seems to us new now, but our ancestors in their own way, in their own time, faced it as well and found solutions. So that's why today I'm really excited to highlight some of those homegrown solutions, to highlight how they were implemented, but as well to highlight how are we going to keep doing to propel ourselves, some of the vision we have, 2035, 2050, which are very bold and very inspiring. But as you know, we always say in Kinyarwanda that we might be a small country in surface, but we're not small people. So I'm always excited to see that big vision. I'll start with you, Professor Ambassador Murigande, to give us some context, because I think it's very important all the time to have a context to put us in perspective. 29 years ago, when the RPA, the Rwandan Patriotic Army, put an end to the genocide, 1 million victims, 1 million Tutsi were killed. When the word even, I still remember, I was only 4, so I don't remember, but when I read, I always am amazed and dumbfounded, excuse me for the strong language, but that experts were saying, I don't think this country is going to come again. We should maybe do 2 countries. Experts were saying, we've seen it before, this is going to be a failed state. And I'm talking about experts, by the way, not just Twitters, if there was Twitter back in the days. These were people that said, we know they're not going anywhere, so this is what we're going to do. Then as well, like we've seen in other more recent countries, NGOs flooded our country. Let's help you. We know which direction you should take. NGOs flooded us with their ideas of what would the Rwanda of tomorrow should look like. And I know that tough decisions had to be made. I know that we had to almost sometimes invite NGOs to leave our country, to say, hey, right now you're trying to have us do this. This is not our priority. We have a priority. We are ready to have Rwandan solution for Rwandan problems. And this is the way. It's going to look long. It's not going to look maybe logical for you, foreigner, but to us, that's the road we want to take. And we're willing even to fail, but want to fail in a Rwandan way. So with that, Professor Ambassador Murigande, can you tell us how did the FPR, Front Patriotique Rwandais, RPF, in collaboration with other Rwandan scholars, come up with these homegrown solutions? Thank you. Sorry, Honorable, you're on mute. Sorry, Honorable.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for reminding the audience the situation that Rwanda found itself in the aftermath of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsis. I would say that the RPF, though it faced an unforeseen situation, it remained focused on its objective of creating a united, just, fair, prosperous country. Normally, people would have expected that after the 1994 genocide, after what the RPF, I mean, the Rwandans had experienced, RPF would have been deviated from its objective of creating a united country. But we remained focused. It remained focused, uniting the Rwandans, cementing the unity of the people of Rwanda, remained the cornerstone of RPF policies. That is why, even after defeating the genocidal forces, it resisted the natural temptation of the winner takes it all, and invited all the political forces that had not played an active role in the genocide to come together with RPF and sit down and come up with a way to rebuild our country. That is how the Forum of Political Parties was created, and the discussions at the Forum of Political Parties resulted in the establishing of the Government of National Unity. The Government of National Unity and the Forum of Political Party served as fora through which challenges that the government of Rwanda, the country of Rwanda was facing were discussed. But it became obvious that these fora were still narrow. That is why in 1998, the RPF requested the then president, President Pastor Bizimungu, who was the vice chairman of RPF, to convene a much broader forum which brought together past and current political leaders, brought together senior civil servants, leaders of opinion in the civil society, the private sector, into what was later known as Urugwiro National Dialogue. And we discussed all the major challenges that our country faced, and these discussions, which lasted 11 months, resulted in really what I would call a roadmap for the post-genocide transformation of our country. So RPF used these three main fora: the Forum of Political Parties, the Cabinet, and the Urugwiro National Dialogue, to really come up with solutions that are known as homegrown solutions that have helped us deal with the terrible situation that we inherited from the genocide against the Tutsi. I would say that what RPF would do, it would establish commissions. Some of the commissions are part and parcel of our structures, but when was needed, it would even establish ad hoc commissions to thoroughly study a challenge, come up with innovative, out-of-the-box solution. And then once that had been formulated, discussed within RPF would then use this fora, the Forum of Political Parties, the National Dialogue at Urugwiro, and even the Cabinet for a broader acceptance of these proposed innovative solutions, thereby achieving what I would call a national buy-in of these solutions for their implementation. So that's how the RPF proceeded to kind of foster these homegrown solutions.
Thank you, Professor. And while I have you, I want to follow up with another question of, can you give us as well some context, as I alluded in the introduction to this second part? The international community sometimes had some pushback because obviously they're used to come in countries that just faced sometimes horrific situation. And as they come to in a cooperation way, they also impose certain vision. And can you share with us, when we presented some of these homegrown solutions, some of the challenges we had in navigating international community pushback?
Yeah, the international community, these so-called development partners, international NGOs, are accustomed to dealing with countries that accept policies, programs that they propose to them. They were now dealing with a government that would tell them that we know our problems better than you know them, and we are not less intelligent than you. We can formulate our own solutions to these challenges of our country, and all we need from you is to support us in implementing our own policies and programs rather than implementing your policies and programs. So they did not accept this kindly, and actually they initially thought that we were arrogant, but when they realized that we're just steadfast and we believed in ourselves, and whatever we stated that we were going to do, we would do it whether they support us or not. They eventually came to kind of appreciate our own way of doing things. Like when we came up with Gacaca courts, for example, the initial reaction was total rejection. They would say, these are kangaroo courts. You are going to use people who have no knowledge of law. But we remained firm, and we started implementing it. And they eventually realized that our solution was the most adequate solution given the situation we're facing. So that is the context and the reaction from the international community that we had to face and deal with.
Thank you, Professor Muligande, Ambassador. And it's always a great reminder to know that, again, when you read in our ancestral history, being founded in 1090 and then all the way to now, I think that our ancestors were wise enough to know how to handle this Rwanda nation from which we descend. So in my mind, if it worked for so many hundreds of years. I think there was a reason why we opted for that path. And that's why I'm excited to now move to Ambassador Muchirinha. I think it worked so well that now we even have an agency dedicated actually to not only making sure this implementation can be shared with whomever wants to collaborate with us, but as well to make sure we have kind of their guardians of that homegrown solutions. And as well, as I said, that ongoing introspection, ongoing reflection, almost like a laboratory of how can we keep honing them and making them better. So with that, I'll come to you, Ambassador Muchirinha, and now take us to today, take us to the Rwanda we all are so proud, and we've always been proud, but now it's at a level where anywhere, even I as a young person, anytime I say I'm from Rwanda, people light up, people shake my hand, and they're like, we've read so much about your country. Can you tell us a bit, with our audience, the scope of work that Rwanda Cooperation Initiative does? Thank you. Sorry, Ambassador, you're on mute.
Yes, I realize I'm on mute. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, Chusa, and thank you also, Dr. Ambassador Dr. Migande for the reminder. Indeed, when you look at Rwanda today, and when you think back really at those situations we had at that time, it's really I don't yes it's kind of wonder to see where we are today. And at the Rwanda Corporation, we were created in 2018, and we are basically a gateway for the exchange of knowledge and expertise we have that informed or led to the success we see today. So we are basically the one-stop center to all partners, friends, and whoever want to understand our transformation journey, Rwanda's transformation journey, but also to learn from our experience and from our knowledge that we have. So we are a gateway for exchange of knowledge and expertise, and our line ministry is the Ministry for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Ambassador. I want to follow up with another question. So as you said that we're this one-stop center for homegrown solutions, when you look around other countries that maybe share our realities, share our struggles, how do you think some of the solution we've found, how are they applicable for some of these other countries? And maybe share with us a little bit, what's the collaboration process like if a country X comes to us and says, hey, we're going as well through this. Can we not only learn from Rwanda, but can you maybe guide us a little bit? Can you share a little bit with us?
First of all, at Rwanda Corporation, we share more than the homegrown initiatives. I can maybe mention it quickly that we also share what we call the best practices. Those are kind of program policies that we have that are really not rooted in our culture, but that we also benchmarked from other countries, adopted them, but adapted them to the Rwandan context. So I can say, for example, the digitization or some kind of solutions that are not homegrown initiatives or homegrown solutions, we also share them with partners. But coming back to the topic of this conversation, the homegrown initiatives, as they are rooted in our culture, it's difficult to say that you can implement them, let's say, one-to-one in other countries. But when people want to learn from it, and understand how we first came up with those ideas, but also how we implement them, they try to learn and implement it in their own context. So each country is different, the contexts are different. the traditions, of the cultures, but there are something they can learn from us that they can implement in their own way, or trigger them to go back and look also inwards in their own traditions if there are some solutions that they can bring back and reactivate and adapt to the contemporary challenges they are facing, and also implement them. And maybe a last comment, we are not the custodian of the homegrown initiatives, we share them. RGB, Rwanda Governance Board, are the custodians of the homegrown initiatives. I think it's very important to clarify that point also here, that we share them, but RGB, Rwanda Governance Board, are the custodian of them. So talking about who we share or who we receive, we really receive different delegations from all, I would say, all over the world, mainly, of course, from the African continent, but also really beyond. We have received delegations from Yemen, from Pakistan, from Jamaica, from Timor-Leste, from Germany, from Norway. So they come really from all over the world, and they really come for all kind of topics, from healthcare, public finance management, social inclusion, gender, so you name it. How do you call it? Investment, how do you call it? Ease of doing business, conducive investment environment. So they really come for all kind of topics, and it's always that's why I was saying that it's interesting. It never gets boring. You always have new topics coming up. As the Ambassador Dr. Murigande was mentioning some of his projects here he's involved in. We have also delegation coming to see how we organize and let's say register and support the faith-based organizations, which is also a topic you wouldn't think that one needs to learn from each other, but they really come and want even to learn on how we manage them. And as you know, that is something that is happening everywhere on the continent. So basically, we have visitors from all over the world, and the topics are really vary from all kinds of topics you can imagine, and then it keeps us really also informed, and also going back to what Ambassador Brigado was talking about, how did we come up to that? So as they always ask questions, and we need to go back and find the origins of all these. And I can also thank Ambassador Murigande again for his support in our work, in the work we do. And we are really lucky to have him, and also where we can go back to get use of his knowledge, of his experience, and his wisdom he has how do we gather over the last many years of being part really of this journey.
Thank you, Ambassador, and thank you as well for adding some clarity, because it's good to know that there's Ministry of International Cooperation and Foreign Affairs, there's RGB, there's RCI. Thank you so much. It's true that sometimes people can like you said, mix a bit who's the custodian. So thank you. Now I'll go to you, Ms. Kamikaze, as I always say, one of the voices of the majority, the arms of Rwanda, Amaboko y'u Rwanda. So very important to also hear from you. We are the generation that saw that transformation as it was happening. We were the generation that went to school and heard as people were doing the mobilization of, we need to do this, we need to change our way of doing, so we were kind of in the process of everything. We saw our parents doing it. We saw our maybe older siblings or young uncles and aunties doing it. So I'm always curious, as a just to use an analogy, as we have a beautiful BK Arena, we were on the court side, really front row, observant of all of this, and I think it left an impression on all of us. So I'm interested to hear, can you share with our audience some of the homegrown solutions you saw implemented and consequently inspired Rwandan citizens to have agency in tackling their local issue with local solution rather than looking for important solutions. So Rwandan solution for Rwandan issues rather than imported solution for Rwandan issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chusa. And it also comes back to what Ambassador Muligande mentioned. These development partners, when they came in, they thought they knew what we needed, but we know what we need more than them, and they just have to come and help us. They're willing to help us achieve that. So I'd absolutely love to talk about some of these homegrown solutions that I've seen being implemented, and today they're used as a benchmark, and Ambassador Christine can testify to this every day in her job, in her busy Monday to Friday, meeting people who are trying to learn from us. So I'll start with one. I'll highlight Umuganda, how it has instilled a sense of accountability in all of us. Yes, we are a developing country. It is easy for all of us to think our country is dirty because we are poor, but no. Thanks to our leadership, we have been reminded that cleaning your porch doesn't require a lot of money. Removing bushes from your house shouldn't require government intervention. You can't ignore trash on the road or in front of your house just because it's not your job. It's your job, and you should be bothered. And I wish this could spread, this spirit could spread across our continent. When you look at our RDF peacekeepers, wherever they are, they contribute heavily by participating in Uganda in the communities they protect. They're ensuring their security, which is their job, but they're also like ensuring there is a clean and healthy environment wherever they are. And I believe Ambassador Mathilde should consider making them her brand ambassadors for RCI, because they carry this very well. And it's not just that, it's all of us. We should all join them in this quest of sharing our great homegrown solutions. Nabacyusa namwe muri za America really developed, but these cities are still, they need to learn how to do Muganda like us. Maybe I can do another one. It's recent, it's the Coffee Day, which is now a bi-monthly event. It is organized by, started in Kigali City with the city of Kigali in partnership with different ministries, health, sports, local government. But it has now spread. It was Bugesera Coffee Day, it's in the north, so people are picking this. And one good thing is that it is often attended by His Excellency, President Kagame, and the First Lady. This is the true definition of leading by example. So the Coffee Day not only encourages exercise and physical fitness, but it also promotes a healthier lifestyle. If you're talking about this Vision 2050, Vision 2035, we are not going to achieve them if we are not combating NCDs, non-communicable diseases, but it also contributes to a greener city. We are championing Green Rwanda, and how do we do that? It's something that I'm very impressed by, and I try to attend as often as I can. So the success of this initiative, it has made it a reference point in other countries. I read Ethiopia had started implementing, Uganda was thinking of implementing it as well. There was a bit of a backlash from the young people on social media. They already have crazy traffic jam, but it's something that if it's well, the way we have managed to do it, it's a program that they should look into. So we have set this precedent of starting things, doing them so easily and so flawlessly that everyone thinks it's possible in their country. And the fact that Rwanda Corporation is an office, is an agency that was created just for that, it shows that there is something good we have that we could spread, that we could share with many people. So I can talk about these, there are very many, but maybe let me just do those two for now. If time allows, I can elaborate more on other solutions.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Ms. Kamikaze, and also for reminding us that time is of the essence. But I'll still want to do a quick follow-up, and then we'll move in the last part, which is the conclusion part. As you navigate your career, your life, how have all these made in Rwanda solutions inspired you and your peers to always look first within before when there's an external challenge, to always look within?
Thank you. Chisa, I love this question. Thank you very much. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm in the banking sector, and I've been in this industry for nearly 11 years. I joined the industry when I was still in school. And when I started, for example, most of the IT solutions that we use in the banking industry, and I've not worked for one bank, I've moved quite a bit. Most of the IT solutions that we use were provided by foreigners, primarily Indians and American institutions. But today, I can proudly say that we have that made in Rwanda, as you mentioned, it goes beyond fashion. It goes beyond the nice shirts that we wear on Friday. It goes beyond the nice dresses that we buy. It is now thanks to IT solutions that support major corporate companies like banks and telecoms. Many of the systems used now by banks were developed by young Rwandans, and not people who went to big schools, who went to MIT, or no, these are university students, graduates, from the University of Rwanda. These are former students who are under the guidance and the watch of Ambassador Mugandi. They are doing this, so they're helping banks, telecoms, different institutions with this IT solution. So it's incredibly inspiring, and it reminds us that we have the talent, the capacity to solve our own challenges. Of course, there are things that we'll still learn from other people, but it's possible to do them locally. I know when of course, we are still relying on some of the big telecommunication and technology companies on most of the things, but it's possible to solve this issue. Even when you have to get an IT solution from outside, these Indians will try to find a young Rwandan or a young Rwandan man or woman to help manage the technical support, because they can't offer this support when they're not homegrown. So it's really good that we have looked and we have checked internally as the banking industry, and I believe other institutions should also follow suit, because the talent is there. And I can give you many other examples. I just picked this because it's something that is very recent. We are doing it at the bank and looking at, oh, the person developing this Rwandan company, the person giving us this service Rwandan company. So it's really amazing that we notice that it's possible, and we just have to look within. If we need support, get support for 1-2 years, like like Ambassador does, mention the way they do it at Rwanda Corporation, and then hand it over. Let's take over. And this is a challenge that I throw out to all my our peers. There are things that we can do that we don't need to learn or to borrow from outside. It's very possible. We have been given, if government believes in us, they've given us the ball is in our court. We just have to take it and run and implement these things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kamikaze. And it's always a great reminder to know that Obviously, we're talking about homegrown solutions, but it's very important as well to put the emphasis on homegrown talents. Because when you think of when you leave a certain environment, and I love that you mentioned some great worldly renowned institutions, you still have that distance from the environment where you're gonna bring back some of the solution you've learned outside. So I've always humbled as someone who lives in the sixth region in Harayagatanda too. It's always great anytime I come back home and anytime even I visit even virtually, right, on WhatsApp groups, on different social platforms. People always remind you, hey, you're outside of an environment. Make sure when you come back or when even you come share solutions, take that humble time of readapting to the local temperature, readapting to the local realities, because otherwise there's going to be a gap. So I really appreciate to see that. But as well, like you said, we're not isolated from the globe. We still have to collaborate with others because we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We can just imitate, emulate, but adjust to our local realities. But as well, I always believe for a sustainable partnership or a sustainable collaboration, it has to be win-win and a transfer of skills and a transfer of knowledge. Because otherwise, that dependency, it's not sustainable. So thank you so much. Before we move in the conclusion part, I see Ambassador Nguchinha, you have your hand up. Is that a comment?
Yes, I couldn't keep quiet. Yes. Yes, thank you. I couldn't keep quiet now specifically to what Fiona said, because some of the projects we implement, as I said, beyond the homegrown initiatives are exactly this kind of the IT solutions that we have that have been developed by our own young Rwandans and Rwandan companies that we now export to other countries. We have different solutions in public finance management, in e-procurement, e-tax. All these solutions that have been developed by Rwandans are what we are exporting today. The message is now, as Fiona mentioned, we can do it ourselves, and we can also help others in their quest also to achieve their respective vision, their respective development goals. We can also contribute to that. So for the younger ones, it's not only about developing for themselves, but you're also developing to many different partners that are looking at us.
Thank you, Ambassador Nguchinha, for your added comment, as they're indeed very needed, because we, as you know, in the time and day we are, the digital, the IT is one of the ways that have helped us leapfrog some of the steps some countries that are still developing need to go. And I'm always impressed with Irembo. And many times when again, it's hard to not compare, but I as someone who lives outside of my home country, when I compare to fellow other country members and I say, oh, I'm about to renew my passport, you know what, I've done everything online. They're like, oh my God, I had to go physically. I had to pay physically. I had to do everything physical. And I'm like, oh, wow, in Rwanda, everything is done electronically. I just show up, take a picture, put my finger thumb, and in 5 business days, I have my passport. They're like, I beg your pardon. So thank you for reminding us. And that's very true. That's very true. So now, as you know, we're going to go in the conclusion parts. I always say that in no way we can give justice to this transformational, this impressive journey of the last 29 years. It's just a glimpse. Today was a way of, we want to intrigue people. We want to throw as many ideas and point people in, go learn more, go do more of your own research, because the Rwandan journey cannot be summarized. Even though if we bring some expert like yourselves, even though if we bring people that have been in the first seat, in the court side, as I said earlier, of all that impressive transformation, it was just today a symbolic hour for us to exchange and to raise up again that debate. I'll start with you, Professor Ambassador Murigande. Again, like I said, the majority, demographically speaking, on the African continent are the youth. Rwanda is not immune to that. In Rwanda as well, now we have over 50% born after 1994, the genocide against the Tutsi. We have over, I'm not sure of the exact number, but I know 70 to 80% that are under the age of 40. So I'm curious, what is the role of the youth and of also young adults born after 1994 on picking up the baton, on honoring this momentum towards 2035 and 2050? Thank you. Sorry, Honorable, you're on mute. Sorry about that.
Sorry. Yes, thank you for giving me the floor once again. As you rightly said, Rwanda is a very young country. 65% of our population was born after 1994. So, but this is a fact that our leaders have taken on board in everything they do. If you look at anything that is done in Rwanda, young people are given a prominent role, prominent participation. You look at our cabinet, I think the average age of our ministers is I think around 44, 45. If you go down and look at permanent secretaries, I think the average would be around 36. And you look at heads of all our parastatals and do the average age is probably around 40. So young people are given prominent role. And if you look at even the leadership of RPF, you know that our president takes time to meet with young people, spend a whole day discussing with them. So we are conscious that our sustainability reside in empowering young people, because the likes of me are soon disappearing from the scene. So we have indeed invested in young people and have empowered them, have given them important responsibility. And the good thing is that they are working with those who have had to manage the immediate post-genocide difficult situation, and they are given an opportunity to see how their elders handle every big challenge, how they handle the stress that comes with leadership. And we are now sure that our country is in the safe hands when we see the likes of Fiona and her generation taking active responsibility in all important positions that are being given to them. So we know very well that the future of Rwanda lies squarely in their hands. That's why we call them Rwanda Rwejo.
Thank you very much, Professor Ambassador Murigande. Ambassador Murikinga, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. I think the role of youth, Ambassador Murigande said it really, really well. From RCI perspective, I would say that first of all, they should not take it for granted. So they should really, I say they, you also are, you should take it, Chusa and your peers. You should not take it for granted. But really appreciate the efforts and the sacrifices that are behind what you see today, as you mentioned, and what you and we are all proud of today. But also looking ahead, as we continue to develop our country, as we have our Vision 2050, we will only reach our aspirations if you keep that creative mind, being innovative, being patriotic, really putting everything it takes so that we really reach our goals of as stipulated in the Vision 2050. As Ambassador Dr. Murigande said, I hope I will still be around to see really how you will have contributed so that we reach our vision. My contribution, I think, is also coming to an end somehow, at least the active one, but we will really, and most importantly, we are here to support you and to guide you so that you can reach that.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Ms. Kamikaze.
Thank you very much, and I like that both ambassadors mentioned that we are here to support, we are here to cheer you on. It's amazing that we have them even here, even this conversation we are having. It's good that we get to have it with them, where they give us their insight and we share our bold and ambitious goals that we want to achieve for the country. So on what we should look out for, or what young people should contribute to the 2035 and Vision 50 plan. I think Rwanda has set ambitious goals for the economic development for our country, and youth are very, very essential in driving this economic growth. We are contributing skills, innovation, energy to all the sectors of the economy. There is technology, I mentioned it earlier, agriculture, entrepreneurship, education. There is a lot we can do. So I mentioned technology, embracing and developing technology and innovation. It's very crucial for this development, but we need to educate ourselves, we need to learn, we need to be very curious about what's going on in the world, so that we can leverage the technology that is changing every day to solve local challenges. Ambassador Christine mentioned that we are now exporting e-tax, e-procurement, and we could be doing more. There are very many. You mentioned that your peers, just when they're trying to renew their passports in the countries they come from, they struggle. So which countries are these? Where can we go? Can we go now and solve these issues for them? Because I'm sure we have a lot to offer. But I also want to talk about our engagement. You mentioned that, you rightly mentioned that we have front row seats. We started as observers. Now we're not only observing, but we're also playing. We're on the ground. But Charles mentioned that he gave figures. We have a very young cabinet. The PS, the permanent secretary. I always joke that that's what everyone else is photo ops. Joke because I know they also do a lot. But even these permanent secretaries, they're young. The CEOs of Irembo, RDB, there are many, they're very young people. They are RCP, people who are positioned in Rwanda as destination. They're young. There is a lot we can do as young people, but we need to not be complacent at all. There is this thing, young people think that wigize umunyapolitike, muri politike, but really no, it shouldn't be that. We've seen a lot. We've been given the opportunity to learn, to see what Rwandans have achieved. You mentioned RPF, what they've done to liberate our country, to have us living in Rwanda, enjoying, even having time to go out, party, laugh, enjoy concerts. These are not things that we should be taking for granted. I do not encourage everyone to become an ambassador or become an MP, but contribute. We are in the private sector. What are we doing for our country? So we have to carry on, achieve more than what our parents have done. We owe it to them because they did not have the opportunities we were blessed to have. Some of them had to finish their studies when after the genocide. Some gave up and did other things. But for us, there is free education. There are different things to learn on. They have given us the blueprint. We just have to take it and run and achieve all these things. So I request that we all look at how we can do more because we owe it to our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, I want to extend major gratitude to our wonderful panelists, to as well those that listen to us. As you know, this topic was very important, core to our country, but as well in that spirit of Ubuntu, in that spirit of, we always think of the humanity because we're part of a concert of nation. Some of the solution that was developed in Rwanda by Rwandans are always up to be shared with others. The one thing always to remember is we're in the line of our history. It's always important to remember where we came from, where we are now, also where we're headed. And when you think about this, I'm always inspired when I see the role that the youth is given. I'm always inspired that with the demographic that we have, people are leveraging that potential that we represent. But also, I always have to remember that those that literally paid the ultimate price to give their life for the liberation of Rwanda, the majority were the youth. And I remember as well of those that had that sense of urgency, because you know, when you're young, your blood is still very warm, very hot, and you don't have much patience. When people decided 33 years ago, October 1st, to attack Rwanda, because the youth was tired to be living as refugees, living in between, not knowing of tomorrow. So again, that was the youth. So to me, I'm always reminded that the youth has always had a front row and an active role in bettering Rwanda, in liberating Rwanda. However, it was not just an unguided youth. The youth always had their ears very close to their elders, had their eyes as well to their elders to say, hey, we want to learn as well from some of your wisdom to know how to go forward and to be very strategic. So as youth, we are the engine of this country. We are the future of this country, but as well, always reminded on the shoulders that we stand upon, which is our elders, which are people that paved the way for us to walk this way. One thing is never taking anything for granted. When you look at history as well, I'm always reminded, us that have been blessed to kind of read and look at the Francophone world, I'm reminded of my own mother that tells me when she was in university, she would meet people from Burkina Faso, as you can imagine, way. And that was under the Thomas Sankara era. And she told me how they were so proud, so elegant. But then look what happened. So that's the same time as well to know the youth should never take for granted and always ensure that the great direction that is given by the engine of the country, which is the RPF, should be always honored and always propelled to that vision 2035, to that vision 2050. And that's why I take a lot of pride in doing this. I'm so grateful that we have support from the different ambassadors on this panel. I see, because I learn by seeing, I see my peer, Ms. Kamikaze Fiona, doing it. So thank you as well for inspiring me. And to those that put this platform together, Rwanda Protect My Brand, thank you so much, because if we don't speak, who's going to speak? We have to own that narrative because others are writing, others are talking on our behalf. And that, I think, in 2023 should not be the way. So with that, I want to wish you a wonderful rest of your evening of Saturday in Rwanda. Those on different time zone, have a wonderful Saturday. And this has been Chusanwari, always honored to facilitate such a great conversation. And we're always also open. Let us know if there's other topic we should be talking about. Let us know if there's other discussions, other panelists you'd like to see. Because as you know, we are very, very blessed to have talented Rwandans in Rwanda and in the sixth Rwanda, in the Rwanda of the globe. Because as you know, for our ancestors, Rwanda was everywhere. With that, I wish you all the best and stay blessed. Murakoze cyane.
Rwanda rwiza, Rwanda rw'imitima.